If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Youssef Zalal on the show. He's going to make his UFC debut next Saturday at UFC 247, taking on Austin Lingo. This one came together very quickly. Happy to have one of the newest members of the UFC roster here. Youssef, welcome to the UFC, man. How are you?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm pretty good, man. I'm doing great.
I bet. I mean, how does that all sound, welcome to the UFC? I mean, does it feel real, or will it feel like the real thing when you actually step in the Octagon in Houston?
It'll definitely feel real when I step in the Octagon. I believe it, but oh my God, it's like sometimes you're just like, oh God, like I still can't believe it,
So talk about how this all happened. Like, when did you find out? How did you find out, especially with the announcement coming less than 2 weeks before the fight?
I know we had a chance of us stepping in on a short notice. So I was planning on fighting like for LFA or something like that, just staying ready. So they told me stay ready. So I was like, okay. So followed my diet, followed my training, recovery, and all that. So I was staying ready for any fight, to be honest. It didn't matter if it was UFC, LFA. I just needed to fight, I want to stay active. So my manager called me. He's like, yeah, stay ready, blah, blah. Your name is up in the list and all this and that. So, and then he calls me on a Tuesday with a smile on his face. And I was like, before I even said anything, I didn't even say hi or nothing. I was like, shut up. Don't lie to me. I was like, dude, don't do it right now. He's like, yeah, we're in. So, and then my wife got to witness it with me. So it was me and my wife and one of my teammates I was playing video games with. He's the first one to know too. So that was crazy. He started screaming. I had the headset on. I took the headset on and I was literally just speechless. I dropped the phone and my wife picked the phone. But that was a pretty cool moment we had on a Tuesday.
So which teammate had that reaction like Oprah just gave him a new car?
Oh, it was one of my teammate amateurs. He's not even a pro. He's an amateur that I was playing video games with his friend. And then I was like, hold on, bro. I'm FaceTiming while I had the headset on. So they hear me talking to my manager. And then as soon as I got up and they started screaming for like a good 10 minutes. So it was a pretty dope experience.
How surprising was this call for you? Because I know you were on the list and your manager was telling you like, hey, I got you there. We'll see what happens. Not necessarily just getting the call that you're in the UFC, because I'm sure you expected that call to come at some point, but just getting the call for this card on a scale of 1 to 10, like how surprised were you?
Oh, I was even shocked that I even forgot what card I'm fighting on. That's how excited I was. I was like, oh shit, I'm fighting on a John Jones card. Like I was like, holy shit, I was like, I didn't know this until a day later, until you really be like, oh, hold on, I'm actually fighting on this card. So that was very different for me. I never felt that feeling for a fight. Like I cornered my teammates in the UFC and all that. So, but I know exactly who they fight in and exactly when, and all that. But I was just like, oh, you're fighting in the UFC, and I was like, oh, what? That's awesome. Let's do it.
So you've experienced the fight weeks and all the craziness and going from one thing to another and all that stuff, being part of the UFC machine. So nothing really for fight week is going to throw you off at all. You're prepared for all of that.
Oh no, man. I seen bad fight week. I seen a great fight week. I seen a mediocre fight week. I seen it all. I seen it at all levels of fight weeks, at the highest level and at the lowest level.
And you get to share your first UFC fight card, a pay-per-view card with 2 title fights with one of your teammates in Jonathan Martinez. So I'm sure that makes things a little bit better on that end, correct?
It makes it better for him. He was so shy. He's super shy and nervous. As soon as he found out I'm fighting, he got all excited and all happy for me and stuff. And I was like, bro, you're so nervous now. You're happy. I'm fighting with you.
He's so funny, man.
He's like the craziest, shyest person I ever seen in my life.
I remember I interviewed him a couple weeks ago and he apologized afterwards. He goes, man, I got to get better at these interviews. I'm like, I'm going to call you the silence behind the violence, man. Don't worry about it. You're a man of few words.
Oh my God. Oh man, that guy, you hit him. he's trying to hit you with 5 more punches than you hit him. I'll tell you that. He's definitely the silent assassin or something like that. We should give him a nickname for that. But he definitely don't play around.
I'm looking forward to his fight and this fight, of course. But you made highlight reels all over the place with your last fight, that brutal flying knee finish at LFA 79. And even Brandon Royval, your teammate, who breaks the record for the fastest submission in LFA history and becoming a champion, he said your finish was better than his. So in hindsight, like,
hell no. Hell no. No. I mean, my finish it was all right. But, I mean, do you see the things that guy does? It's ridiculous. You're throwing a flying kick out of the guard, half guard, and going from submission to submission. No way. I got a basic flying knee finish. He went literally. You saw flying knee to a flying switch kick that you only see in the movies. You didn't even see in fighting. Like that's what crazed me out. So I'm telling you, man, that kid needs to be in the UFC. That oh my God.
I would agree with you on that one. And how dare you call that flying knee basic? I can't do that. That's insane. But, I mean, in terms of just the fight itself, I know you were coming in on a 2-fight losing streak, but how important was not just getting the win back in November, but doing it the way that you did and that emphatically and snapping that 2-fight losing streak in the process? Like, I feel like the timing was perfect for that.
Oh, man, it was perfect timing. The crazy thing is, for me, like, I did some mistakes in those 2 fights. Not on the fight. Like, obviously, I did some mistakes in the fight, but I'm talking, like, outside the fighting, you know? Like, the diet, all this stuff that I really didn't take seriously, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys still had me winning most of those 2 fights. So for me, it's like, on my worst day, I can perform like that. On my best day, I can perform like the last fight. So, like, it really showed me the how, like, outside can really control your fight game and control a lot of things. So, and then me going to Morocco after 10 years not seeing my mom or my sister again, man, he just released all the stress, the pressure, and all that. So I came back, felt a whole new man.
Have you gone back there since?
What was it? We got back in October, right after my LFA fight that I won by knockout. We went, me and my wife, and then came back, and now here we go. I was planning on going back to Morocco with a UFC contract, but now it's the opposite. I went to Morocco, came back, and then got the contract. So it's I guess it worked both ways.
You're just gonna have to keep going back there in between these fights because good things keep happening for you.
Oh man, I love it. It really shows my roots. You know, I was like I went back there and kind of see the culture and what it's really about, you know, and see the people and everybody, you know, man, it motivated me a lot.
Was it surreal going back there after all that time and just seeing everything? Did it bring you back a little bit? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh my God, I was an emotional disaster. I'll tell you that. It was I don't know if ever you guys see me cry, but oh my God, boy, I let it all out that day. I'll tell you that. Especially the first 2 days, it was very, very, very emotional for me. How
long were you out there for?
3 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
so you must have got over the tears pretty quickly.
I made sure I stayed for 3 weeks. I was like, me and my wife were talking about it. It was like, we can't do 1 week and we can't do like 2 weeks. 2 weeks is too short. So she was like, and we can't do a month. We don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to come back. You know, I want to stay. Nah. So like we just did it 3 weeks. So we have to come back and then come back again.
So clearly you have a great support system in your wife who knows you very well. And in this sport, that is very hard to find somebody that's that understanding and that supportive in a crazy, you know, game like mixed martial arts. How important has that been for you, not just, you know, as a person, but in your fighting career as well?
Oh man, it started a little rocky. She as soon as I met her, like, okay, now she's fighting. Now she watched me fighting. She met my family the first time, and it was my pro debut. That's the first time she met my family. So it was kind of like, you know, all too much. But she understands it so much now, man. She's like, I call her my personal chef and all that. She's been helping me like with everything, man. I come home, I literally don't stress about anything. I come in, do my thing, and go back to training. So she's been taking me out of all my stress that I need to do before the fight. So I can't thank her enough.
You're going to fight Austin Lingo, a fellow LFA alum. I don't think you've shared a card with him in LFA, but I'm sure you're quite familiar with him. It seems like your paths would probably cross at some point. In terms of the matchup itself, how do you like it?
So I cornered against him when he found my teammate Phil Gonzalez. That's his only decision thing I think he has. But I cornered against him, and it was like crazy. Like, they made us wait for the first one. They said, "Oh, we ran out of time." So we had to wait for the whole card to finish, the whole LFA card to finish, from the prelims all the way to the main event. And then they fought. So it was like I got to see every round of him fighting with him. But I knew one time when I was fighting in the LFA, I knew I was going to cross the path with him. I felt like he was coming up so quick and so crazy. So I was like, I could see me and him like going down and fighting. But I didn't know it was going to be in the UFC, obviously. And now we know. But I mean, like I said, man, I seen that kid, and I see what he has, and I see what he brings to the table.
And what do you think?
Hey, man, like I said, I'll say it again. You guys are going to see a whole, like, what is my fight IQ is. Because people said, like, I just had an interview in the morning. They're like, "Oh, you're the 8th youngest fighter on the roster in the UFC." And I'm like, I might be the youngest, but I'll tell you that. I got one of the highest IQs in the MMA game. And then Saturday night, I get to show it.
Do you look at like those little things surrounding the fight? Like, do you look at the odds and stuff? Because I saw Austin opens up at like a 5-1 favorite in this fight, which I was kind of surprised to see.
Oh, is he 5-1? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I don't even
minus
know about
500.
the odds. Oh, what is it? Like, if you bet what, $5, something like that, or what is it?
If you bet, like, if someone bets $500 on Austen Lingo and he wins, they win $100.
Oh, tell him good luck. Tell them good luck. And then what about me? If they bet $100, they win 500.
I think I forget yours is like plus 3 something, so they'll win like 3 something.
Hey, let them think that way. That's awesome.
Make that money is what you're trying to say.
I told him, I was like, one time I fought in a private show. It was like a bunch of rich people, and I was like, all of them. They're like, who the hell is this skinny guy? He's not gonna win. And as soon as I won, I was like, oh, how much money did I make you, huh?
You were like Van Damme and Lionheart. That's hilarious.
Hey, like, I don't care, man. It's fighting, man. I lost when I had the odds on me and all that. So it really don't matter. It's odds. It's what other people think about us. You know, it's not what it's all matters is what you think about yourself. That's all that matters.
That's right. And it all matters when that cage door locks and you guys go to work next Saturday in Houston. But you seem very happy. You seem very excited. But how would you describe what you're feeling right now? Like, do you find yourself having to sort of keep your emotions in check and try to tone down your excitement at all? Or does it feel like any other fight to you?
Man, yeah, there's definitely emotions and happiness and all that, you know what I mean? But in the end of the day, man, I'm going to leave that until after, you know? It's another fight for me, man. It's another step for me to do a lot greater things that I wanted to do and I want to do and I still want to do. So it's just another day for me, man. I experienced it with all the guys, man, the vets that we have in the team, all this. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can push myself to, and I know what I can do. So that's all I think about.
How do you introduce yourself to this new audience at UFC 247 next Saturday? How do you see this all going down? And I guess more importantly, what are you hoping to accomplish inside that octagon outside of just getting your hand raised?
Fuck, man, that's seeing people how, like, no matter what, like, make the opportunities come to you. Don't chase opportunities. If you really do the things that you need to do for a fight instead of just waiting for a fight, your diet is shit, your training recovery is not good. No, just I'm gonna show all the world, like, okay, you give me an opportunity, watch me do work.
I thought I heard Brandon say that you were going to drop to 35 when I spoke with him. Are you planning on staying at 45, or do you want to eventually get down to bantamweight?
No, I definitely I'm getting down to that bantamweight. That reach is very, very good for me. It's that 75 reach. I ain't messing around.
So get through this one, and then next fight, bantamweight. That's the plan, at least.
Yes, sir. That's the plan, at least.
What do you want to say to the fans who may be looking at your smiling face for the first time, who may get ready to watch you compete next Saturday for the very first time? What's the message for all those folks?
I'll see you at the next one.
I like it, man.
They'll watch me once. I guarantee you they'll see me the next one.
There you go. Youssef, congratulations on the call. I'm very happy for you, man, and I appreciate you giving me some time before you head out to Houston. When are you heading out there?
I leave on Tuesday morning.
There we go. Nice and
So I
nice
get there.
and warm
I get there. Yeah, I get there after. I don't even know what's the temperature down there, to be honest. So I've been to Houston last year 4 times. Just cornering fights.
I have some family out there. My cousin texted me on Monday. It was a picture of him on a patio wearing shorts, and he was drinking a lemonade. He said it was 81 degrees out there. I was like, it's 8 degrees here.
Not in Colorado. No, not in Colorado. This is how crazy Colorado is. It snowed the last 2 days. On Sunday, it said it's going to be 70 degrees.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's welcome to Colorado for you.
That is crazy. I thought New England had its swings, but man, Colorado's that's insane.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, like it literally snowed in the morning. Now it's sunny outside right now.
Love it, man. Before we let you go, let the folks know where to follow along on this journey with you via social media. Any other shout outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man, you guys can follow me definitely at the Moroccan Devil at Instagram and Twitter, Moroccan Devil 35. And then obviously my name on Facebook. And then big thank you to you, man, for taking your time and doing this interview with me, man. I appreciate you. I know you guys makes us come up top quicker. So thank you guys. But yeah, man, I thank my family, my wife, my teammates. Factory X. I won't do it without them. My strength conditioning coach, Ogden, Wrigley, Landau, man, they've been getting me to a whole different level. So I can't thank them enough.
True or false? When you win next Saturday and you get that microphone in your face.
That's what I'm talking about. I was like, the last interview I did, he was like, the last interview was like, oh, when you win. I was like, no, relax, man.
Yeah, I can't. I know what I'm doing here.
My man.
If you get that microphone in your face, are you using that time to shout out Brandon? Give it.
Hell yeah.
True. That's happening, right?
I told him this on the gym. I told him, watch. If Joe Rogan, whoever the hell comes down to me, the first thing I'm going to say, give my boy Brandon a shot. He deserves that shot.
He's next.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I trained with that kid like 4 years now, and I don't think I ever seen a flyweight in my life that fights like him. He really doesn't. That kid is incredible, man. He's amazing.
It's funny. I actually talked to he's like a 25-35 hybrid from New England who just improved to 4-0, and he watches everything. And I asked him about Brandon Royval getting into the UFC, and he goes, and he said, I want to fight him. And he goes, I want to fight that kid on the Contender Series. And I was like, you baller. That's crazy. 4-0 fighting Royval in the Contender Series. That'd be just crazy. I love it.
Hey, you gotta have some balls in this game, don't you?
That gusto, man.
You can't just be hiding. So if you want to be on top, you got to fight the top. So I can't blame him. I want to fight the top as well. That's one of my goals as well. So I can't just be here and fighting all these guys. I want to give me the best. Give me the guy who knocks everybody out. I want to fight that guy, and I'll show you. Like what did Muhammad Ali say? I'll show you how great I am. And you watch me on Saturday night. I'll show you how great I am.
Love it, man. Thank you, Youssef. Congratulations again, and all the best to you next Saturday. Enjoy it all, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I really do.